Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The Green Pill Secret. Yes, I'm at Neast Point in Scotland. Hello, everyone. No, I'm really not, but I was there once. But I'm on a cliff because sometimes you have to deal with a bad breakup. And that's what this week's episode is about, bad breakups. And I want to talk a little bit about my love life because all I can speak to is my personal experience, although I have spoken to others about these things, but my personal experience, I am the kind of guy, like, for instance, I had this one girlfriend. I was with her for 6 months and I knew it wasn't working um, for reasons. It's nothing mean or anything. I like her as a human being. We're still friends. But the thing is, it wasn't working. And she was down in Dover and I said, look, I'm not going to break up with her through text. I'm not going to break up with her through the phone. I want to go see her in person, give her all the chances that she can have to argue her case. And I did that. And we are still friends. And I got a divorce. My divorce was a lot of she threatening to divorce me and she threatening to divorce me and she threatening to divorce me every time she got angry. But in the end, I said, let's get a divorce because I deserved better. I shouldn't be having someone who threatens to divorce me all the time and all the other things that I generally did um, need to get out. I was in a very bad place, and we did. And we're still friends because I did it amicably. I took her feelings into account when we did the divorce. I've dated some women for the most part. They have remained friends, even if they failed, even if they broke up with me, because I think they're interesting. I have a lawyer that I dated a couple times, and I still think of her as a friend. She's nice. She was going through things, and I wasn't in the right place at that time. So fine, no harm, no foul. We're friends. Another one, opera singer, great woman, absolutely A1, wonderful person. I enjoyed a few dates with her, but she wasn't interested, and I'm okay with that. She's a good person. I wish her well, and all of that. So that's fine. But what's a bad breakup? A bad breakup, well, one of the best breakups I've had was I started dating this woman back in February or so, and she was just exactly what I needed, what I was looking for. Exactly a great match for me. And we started connecting and seeing if we could be compatible. And I joined her church. I already talked about my faith, but her church was the church that I wanted to try as a church. It wasn't that I could go to any other church. It's just I figured I knew her and I'd go to her church. And it's a good church, and I have supported it. And I like Pastor Ray, who runs the church, the Antioch church that I go to in Woodridge. And I've enjoyed those sermons. And although I stepped away mainly because she said I was too old, and she said I was too old, and she wanted me to go back to my ex. And no, I've just said, there's no way I'm going back to her. In fact, I really don't want to go back to any woman I've dated in the past. Not because I don't like them, because I've said they're all my friends. It's just, I remember why I broke up or why they broke up with me, and I respect it. So, for instance, telling me I'm too old, I respect it. Do I like her? Do I like spending time with her? Yes. When she disappeared from my life, because I stopped going to the church because I started dating another woman, that was sad. But it's not like she ghosted me. She just didn't talk to me much, and that was fine. But then I started dating this woman, and this woman sort of pushed herself on me. She, we were just having nice conversations, and she sort of implied things that she wanted to get into a romantic relationship, and I let it happen. But there were problems, and unfortunately, things pushed very fast. And it wasn't that they were going too fast, because I could always put brakes on fast. It was more so just recapitulating some of the things that I had to deal with my ex that I just didn't want to deal with. I had gotten over it, and I did not want to be in that position again. It's not like people can't have fights. It's just that the behavior in the fight and just having the person that you're fighting with, keeping them in your heart and accepting them as fighting from an emotional place, but not from a fundamental place. I mean, yes, don't get blindsided because sometimes a fight really does end up in a breakup. But for the most part, I always take a fight to say, I care about you, but I disagree. That's what I try to do. And yes, I do sometimes get angry and frustrated. And I still need to work on these things. But overall, that woman, I met her at her house. I explained to her that it wasn't working, and I did as best as I could to explain myself. I was worried about her because her dad had just gone through some medical issues, and I didn't want to sort of break up with her in the middle of that, but she put me against the fence, and I knew it wasn't working, so I told her it wasn't. She convinced me to give her another try, but in the end, no, it was just not working. And she blocked me for a while, and that's a bad breakup. Or, for instance, there was another woman that I dated. It dated informally because I will say that back in 2023, my dating was just sort of seeing what's out there, not wanting to commit to anything. In 2025, I'm much more of a uh, mercenary dater. That is, I date you. Are you compatible for marriage? If not, save your time, save my time. Let's just be friends. I have that mercenary attitude when I date. I'm not interested in short-term flings. I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't want to do that. I want to get to something serious because I had it before and I want it back. And I want it with someone who I trust and have faith in all of that. And unfortunately, that woman, the two women that did end up blocking me, one who just sort of ghosted me, but she came back into my life. But she was never in a position to have a long-term romantic relationship. And so when she came back into my life, I just decided, no, we're going to be friends and that's it. I didn't want to even try to pursue that because I was really hurt when she ghosted me. And then this other one that I've just said that I broke up with back in March, with her, I, we were having Passover, and she was just dealing with a lot, and she blocked me during Passover. And I accepted it because I tried my best to be a good friend to her, but I knew that she is going through stuff and let her just be herself. But she also reconnected with me, and we started considering ourselves friends. And I spoke to her recently, and we're good friends. But as far as the young woman who I dated a bit in February, she came back into my life, and we had an interesting conversation. I took her out to a casino over here, and we had a nice, positive conversation. I told her that I was pretty much ending the relationship with the other woman anyway. And I wasn't saying anything to that because I always knew in the back of my head, she already told me I was too old. But it was nice to get her back into my life and just do things with her. And she said, we miss you at the church. So I started going back to the church. And yes, if you're listening carefully, you will understand that there is a Jewish element to this and a Christian element to this. And yes, I had a Jewish mother and a Christian father. So I am both in some sense, and I can love Jesus in the same way that any good Christian can. So for me, going back to that church where I like Pastor Ray and I enjoy the sermons and the breaking bread after the sermon. And I told Ray about my epiphany at the funeral for my friend Donna. So he knows that I'm there out of faith and all that. And I'm sad that I didn't do any Passover stuff, but in the end, I want to focus on the Christianity. And all I will say is that I like that this one friend who attends the same church that I do is back in my life. I'm sad because she is someone I thought about really being someone I could marry. But if I'm too old, I'm too old. Just accept it. And I want the best for her, and I hope she finds someone, just as I hope my Jewish girlfriend finds someone, and I hope my Irish girlfriend finds someone, and I hope my opera singer girlfriend finds ex-girlfriend finds someone, and my lawyer ex-girlfriend finds someone, and my Babylon 5 bestie finds someone. And I hope I find someone too. And I don't know, but the thing is, sometimes the breakups are hard. You just got to mull through them, deal with them, be a gentleman, or if you're a woman, be a good lady, and be ready. But don't go jumping off a cliff. You'll survive for another day. And next week, I'm going to talk a bit about when you are feeling in those dark terms. So then, thank you everyone for joining me as we discuss bad breakups. And I hope to see you next week.